This week on the O The Anthem podcast, of course, we're talking Ravens versus Rams at the Coliseum, Monday Night Football featuring the Ravens, and Corey had a bit of an incident outside of the stadium. A lot in the Baltimore corner this week. Former Mayor Pugh indicted, Thiru deciding to chime in on an inappropriate day, and the ACLU's got something to say to the Baltimore police. It's about time, if you ask me. And of course, in impeachment today, Les Barmas has some allegations about someone who's actually in the hearings. A judge wants to chime in on congressional subpoenas. And Trump, Corey said he goes insane. I'll say that he continues the insanity. All that and more coming up right now on the O The Anthem podcast.
It's almost like you're a professional in some shit. Congratulations to Brendan and Kat. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 294 of the O The Anthem podcast. I certainly can't say congratulations on any engagements because I've dodged that bullet 5 times. We're coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for listening on your podcatcher of choice. Again, the easiest way to do this is to go to anchor.fm/O The Anthem. You can go there and you can find the direct link to the podcatcher you like to listen to O The Anthem on right there. It's so easy. I don't know why everyone doesn't do it to find their podcatcher.
And, of course, you can find more O The Anthem at O The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram. You're probably listening right now at facebook.com/O The Anthem, where we record every episode live. And you can come and be a part of the show. Just put a comment in a comment thread and we'll discuss it. You can find everything O The Anthem, or all the videos for O The Anthem at youtube.com/O The Anthem. Now, a part of the Create Music Group Network.
Yeah.
Sorry about those advertisements, guys. We got to make some money on this gig. And everything O The Anthem, including the merchandise store, is available at otheanthem.com. And I do want to say a special shout out to, I make the joke about being engaged, but I don't think I mentioned her enough. Special shout out to Roxanne. Thank you for putting up with all my nonsense, both here and in real life. I don't say it enough, but thank you.
Yes. Very kind.
Yes.
And
I realize I should probably back that off a little bit because I really don't say much about her, but she puts up with a lot of my bullshit, so we should probably say thank you.
Anyone who can put up with Rob's bullshit deserves a Congressional Medal of Freedom.
Absolutely.
They're giving them away for or a Presidential Medal of Freedom. They're giving away for literally, I think John Voight said something nice about Trump once, and he gets a Medal of Freedom 2 weeks ago.
Wouldn't you want to get one if you could?
Normally it would be one of the 10 most ridiculous things of the week, but we live in a terrifying new world where,
where it's not even close.
Yeah.
Not even in the top 10. But we don't want to start with politics. We, of course, want to start with
the Ravens
and sports ball. So,
yes.
Hey, Ravens.
that was something.
Woo.
Sometimes I worry, at seeing this day come up on the calendar, Ravens at Rams.
Yep.
So I would be able to see it.
Yep.
And knowing that, I could plan to be off this day, I could dedicate the whole day to enjoying the game in the stadium and everything like that. And hopefully the Ravens don't disappoint me.
Yep.
I didn't think that the Ravens were going to lose per se because I felt like they were the better team. But I wanted to just make sure that, I just didn't want to go in there and get embarrassed, because it would have been so hard for me to have been so excited about this whole thing and then just the disappointment. But
you must be so
thankfully
disappointed.
we dodged a bullet.
Must be so disappointed with that result. So here's one of the issues. The problem with Monday Night Football on the West Coast is that the game starts at 5:15 in the afternoon. Which is approximately 4 hours before I usually leave work.
Yeah.
So I told everyone I have to leave at 3 o'clock. So predictably, I got out of there at 4:15 because that's the way that my life works. But you got over there early, And well,
early-ish.
I will say that my point of this is that I missed the first quarter. We got to
most of the second.
Well, no, we got to the stadium at the end of the first. Then it was let's find drinks, and no, it can't be beer. We have to find something else.
Another thing. Listen, I know the stadium's 100 years old. I'm giving it some leeway for this.
There's no bathrooms inside the actual stadium. You have to leave the stadium to go to the bathroom.
The situation outside with like the selling of the food and the drinks and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
It feels like I was dropped in like Aqaba or something like that.
Honestly,
it feels like it feels like I should be singing like King Ali. Like
there's
just like
there's no sense to any of it. By the way, I think that we got in a
like
line.
Merchants and tents with their like grills. Like
we got in a line that wasn't a line. It was just people standing in the general area of where a line would form.
I just think of like the things that they came up with in Raven Stadium, like in not even like the stalls of the stadium, like the ones that they pre-designed to be food things, but just like things that they like jerry-rigged outside of the actual food sales area. Yeah. Where it's like, here's where you can get some like, you know, ice cream or something like that. And they have the whole fucking thing like built up inside of like a little like stall. And it works and it's fine. I don't know why you have people with like fucking folding tables at the stadium.
I think that you and I could piecemeal sneak in, well, maybe with enough people, maybe like 10 or 15 people, we could sneak in a lean-to and start selling our own merchandise inside Ram Stadium. Yeah, it would not take that much.
I think if you just pushed a tent and a table like through the fence, like we could just set one up.
I was gonna say
and
the
just
merch
sell
would be
unofficial Rams merchandise out inside the stadium.
The merchandise will be hard because you're limited to a 4.5 inch by 6.5 inch bag, so gonna be hard to sneak a lot of merch in. But otherwise, you know what we could do?
What?
It's the unofficial merch, and we just wear like 15 t-shirts. So we go in there like,
just taking one.
No, I'm good. Nothing metal. Cool, let's go. And then get in and take them off and sell them at the table that we snuck through the fence. But I said that because
we plan on selling 15 shirts.
Yeah, we can make a profit.
Just have 100 people with 15 shirts just walking in like the other.
No, we're just a family of very girthy people. I don't know what to tell you. No, so
I don't appreciate that you singled out my daughter for her girthiness.
I walked in the stadium and I flipped to Google and I was like, well, let's see what the situation is since these girls are going to apparently make me go get a drink ahead of time. And it was already 14-0 when I tuned in and checked that. I'm like, all right, so we got to get to these seats fast. We went and got a drink midway through the second. We finally get to the seats. On the way up to down the tunnel, I check again, 21-3. And I'm like, all right, this is getting a little out of hand. We were sitting down maybe, I don't know, 3 minutes. Yeah. 28-3. And like, what is going on? I don't know if I can trust this. Something as bad is going to happen. But it turns out something bad happened before I even got in the stadium. So, to you. Yeah. Not to the team.
Nothing was wrong with the team other than Matt Skura's injury, which I hope isn't serious because offensive linemen are hard to replace. Good ones.
Yes, good ones.
And I like how they still managed to wallop the Rams after he left, but this team is dangerous. I just like I can't even like. I feel like this game I've been watching pretty much all the Ravens games. There's a couple I missed because I was on set, but I feel like every single game I've seen, I haven't seen Lamar take like a real hard hit. In any game. He took a couple tonight. There were a couple where people like landed on him a little hard and stuff like that. But
also, arguably some late hits, by the way.
Yeah,
arguably.
And I mean, like, I at some point we're going to get into the outside the edge racism of Lamar Jackson. Yeah. And how everyone like keeps going like, oh, you know, those running quarterbacks get injured all the time. And I'm just like, well, yeah, he runs, but nobody's saying this about Josh Allen. Nobody's going to put himself at risk by running all the damn time. They're going like, wow, look at that white boy run.
Well, I mean, they say the same thing about Lamar, but it's just, hey, look at that boy run. Has a different connotation altogether.
Does not feel the same.
No.
It's when the Bills fans say it.
So, by the way, because I didn't get to do it, I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I was thinking today that I wanted to rush home and get my PlayStation control. Yeah. And there were opportunities to do exactly what I'd planned, which is record Lamar on the field, just like juking and doing spin moves, and then just pan to Corey playing with the PlayStation remote as if it was a Madden game, because basically that's how Corey plays Madden. And when he plays with the Ravens,
that's how I play.
Well, when you play with the Ravens, it's like almost
play
not
to win.
fair.
That's why I do it.
But then I was afraid that they would take my PlayStation controller and not give it back. Since
Because
apparently they're in the market of taking things from people.
Yeah. So hold on. I brought it up. I went to the Rams A to Z guide before going to the stadium, because as a smoker, things can be a little bit dicey with stadiums as to like how you can smoke or where you can smoke.
Yes.
The way the one that has become most comfortable for me in the era of no smoking in stadiums ever is we've set up designated smoking areas where you can like walk out to the street and you stay in like a chain link cage.
Yes, half of this stadium is outside the stadium, which I don't understand. Like, you get food, you go to the bathroom outside of the bowl, and you can call it a concourse if you want. Yeah. It's not. No, it's parking lot
outside.
Extended.
Yeah, it's a park. It's literally just a stadium in the middle of a park.
Yeah, and you put a fence up, and you call this the stadium and that.
And I'm sure they're going to argue that the reason why you can't smoke in outside of the stadium anywhere is because it's in the middle of a park, and you're not supposed to smoke in parks in LA. So
I forgot about that, but yeah.
But there's literally you can own it. It's something I purchased legally.
Also, you're not allowed to drink in parks.
Yeah,
in LA.
But they somehow found a way around that.
Weird how that worked out.
But I checked the smoking before I left. This is exactly what it says on therams.com, because they didn't want to commit to larams.com. So
who knows how long they'll be
They
here.
got to keep it open just in case this $5 billion stadium near the airport doesn't work out.
Well, listen, that town may end up not becoming part of LA, so eventually they might be the Inglewood Rams. Who knows?
There might be some dicey language in the contract. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum is a smoke-free facility. Smoking of any kind, including electronic or vapor cigarettes, is prohibited. The use of smokeless tobacco is prohibited for all events. All right. And then they do the LA Municipal Code structure, 4150-1. Fine. I see that. I'm like, all right, it's going to be 3 hours between cigarettes.
Yeah.
I can deal. I do airports. I do all this. Like, there's times where I can't smoke for 3 hours. It's fine. I also, just as a good person, don't want to, like, irritate people with my cigarette smoke as much as I can handle it.
Like the dumb ads they run with the guy in the stands smoking a cigar. And you're like, who does that?
Right.
Come on.
Like, I will happily go to your little, like, smoker's cage, like 20 yards away from the stadium to avoid, like, irritating somebody.
Yeah.
But also, I should point out that secondhand smoke has killed like fucking 15 people. It's not like,
and thirdhand smoke is not a thing.
They make it seem like every single time a cigarette wafts into your air, like you're getting cancer that you're gonna die from. No, it's not. That's not how it works. And the CDC intentionally said that they increase the numbers of people who die of secondhand smoke to make it more dangerous sounding for people who
and to get states to enact things like the municipal code that Corey just noted.
Anywho,
yes.
But it says no smoking in the stadium. Fine, it's okay. I can deal. I'm a big boy. What I don't appreciate is the fact that I get to the stadium, I go through security, I put my cigarettes and lighter in the thing just because I emptied all my pockets and I put everything in there. And he said, you can't bring those in. I'm just like, oh, I know I can't smoke. And he's just like, no, you can't bring it into the stadium. I'm just like, what? Like, he's just like, you have to either bring it to your car or you have to throw it out. I'm just like,
my car?
Dude, I took the metro here. Like, I was doing everything possible to be as good to all the people who are trying to get out in cars as humanly possible. It's like a fucking Armageddon over there.
It literally is.
When the cars are trying to get out, I take the metro there. I ride a bike back. Like, I don't know. It's just amazing to me that, like, I couldn't even have them in my pocket for fear that I might just start smoking. And I would have been 100% legally within my rights to bring up to an ounce of marijuana on my person with a doctor's rec and be able to. The law is kind of is in a legal gray area as to whether or not I would be able to smoke medicinal marijuana in a park.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can't do it like within 100 yards of a school or something like that. Right. And there's certain other areas
places where children congregate.
Yeah, you're not allowed to smoke pot openly in those places. But if you have a rec, you're allowed to smoke literally anywhere else.
Yes.
And it's just a game of, are you willing to play smart with the cops until you eventually get off?
Yes. Like, am I going to get
Am
the
I
ticket?
willing to get arrested and brought to the station and then sit there for 4 hours just to prove the point that I was legally allowed to do it on the middle of Figueroa?
To be fair, they'll probably just tell you to throw it out.
Yeah, they'll probably, and
more than that.
More than likely, I just snuff out my joint and I walk away, and there's no problem. But I'm saying, like, the fact is, I could have legally had an ounce of marijuana on me, brought it into the stadium. There wouldn't have been a single thing legally they could have done about it. Notice they didn't say anything about marijuana.
Right.
They said, like, cigarettes, cigars, e-cigarettes. They didn't say anything.
Now wait.
Smelled marijuana like crazy throughout the entire game.
Because to be fair, again, here's another thing.
Fine. I don't give a shit. Do it.
You can carry 2 without a smoking device, which they probably would have taken under this. You can carry 2 grams, or what is it, 5 grams?
I thought you're allowed to have an ounce on you at like any given point in time.
No, I think with the medical thing, it's more.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're allowed, because you can actually just take any marijuana on you at any time. I think it's up to 5 grams. How much is an ounce?
It's whatever you're allowed to legally purchase.
Yes, which I think is 5 grams.
Right, and I think I'm allowed to purchase more than an ounce with the doctors. Right?
Yes, maybe it is.
Shouldn't have said it in loud.
Oh, maybe. But
they know I have a medical condition.
If you had a bowl and 2 grams of marijuana, they could make you throw the bowl out
but
and put the weed in your pocket, because technically it's legal to be possessed. If
you're willing to just throughout the course of the games vigorously rub it on your gums, then yeah, sure. Why not have it blast?
I could carry chocolate that clearly marks itself as THC, and they cannot take that away from me.
As long as you have your rec.
Yeah, well, yes, because
I mean, like, technically speaking, there's a lot of legal opportunities that afford yourself if you have a rack.
Right.
If you were some person visiting from Bolivia and you bought some pot recreationally and tried to smoke it on Hollywood Boulevard, I mean, probably nobody would even bother you.
Especially,
but I mean, like, hypothetically, if you just bought it for recreational purposes, then you don't have the ability to smoke it out in public.
Is there
you don't have the ability to like smoke it in hotels or do anything else like that.
Is there an outside food or drink policy in the Rams? I
don't know.
I saw people taking in food. That's all I'm saying.
This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. They're making me throw out an entire pack of cigarettes and a lighter. So there's $10-something right there.
Yeah.
Just out the, like, not even, like, no concern for the fact that, like, I spent money on this. And outside of the stadium, like, literally a football's throw away from where this incident was happening, there are people selling single beers outside of coolers on your walk up. They're just like, Coors Light, Bud Light, anybody want? I'm just like, this is a fucking park. Like, what are we doing?
Because alcohol is allowed.
And then the other thing is, like, as the swarms of people leave the stadium, you see the overturned shopping carts and hot dog people. And listen, I can't. This is I think the part that makes my political philosophy so difficult for, like, people to, like, pin down sometimes. But I'm not against the idea that these people should be arrested for doing this. I just think that they should.
You are against the idea that they should be arrested.
Yeah, I don't want these people arrested for selling food illegally on the street. Because I don't want them to have a criminal record and maybe get deported, because there's a large amount of people who have that happen to them.
And also, let's say that you're, the 3 girls who came with us and you decide you want to eat one of the hot dogs from one of the carts.
Well, this is the problem. Like, so my cigarettes, which will stay in my pocket and not be smoked for the entirety of the game, are a problem. And the lighter that would allow me to light it would be a problem. I mean, like, hypothetically, you could have just had me toss the lighter and, like, what the fuck was I going to do?
Well, you're going to find somebody with pot and get their lighter and smoke a cigarette.
It's just the guy 3 rows back. But you go outside and there's literally like 30 people selling hot dogs off of shopping carts, right? And there's no hand wash station. There's no nothing. This is how the next pandemic starts. I don't know if you know how these things start, but there's some disease that starts because a pig and a human and a chicken all had the flu at the same time, and the microbes get together and they create some new super flu that we don't have the ability to solve, and everyone dies. Like, it's a plague where 20% of the world's population is just wiped off the face of the earth, and it's because nobody's washing their goddamn hands when they're selling you the hot dogs that they're literally burning on a shopping cart that was used at a shopping center. Like, it was going over the floors there. Like, it's insane.
Here's the difference. Who is in charge?
Like, if you're really concerned about, like, your food safety, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This thing, like, if you're really concerned about your food safety, you should never eat any food ever, like, anywhere.
That you don't prepare yourself.
if you don't kill the chicken yourself, you should not be allowed to eat food because, like, the people who take care of the food, the people who serve the food, none of these people are doing everything they can to be as safe as humanly possible.
They are
most
taking a shit and not washing their hands and then coming back and making your food.
This happens at the most expensive steakhouses in America. Like, you cannot trust any food. Like, everything is just, you're leaving it up to the gods. That you don't get sick.
Here's the point.
However,
who is doing the security in the stadium?
I guess USC. I don't know.
No,
like
AMC security. That was on the back of their jackets, or AMB security, maybe. No, private security firm. So a bunch of guys who wanted to be cops, but who couldn't be cops.
Yeah.
So when they have the right to make you throw out your cigarettes, what are they going to do?
Make me do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, who is controlling the security, and by that I mean the carts serving food outside the stadium?
Probably the LAPD.
LAPD. And LAPD don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If you stab somebody in front of them, they would look at the guy and be like, "You all right? You all right?"
Unless they get to write a ticket for something, they don't give a shit about anybody.
Don't make a right where you're not allowed to in front of them. But
during a particular, okay, so I got a ticket the other day. And I lived here like my whole life. I maybe saw the sign once and said like, oh, I should commit that to memory in case I ever have to make a right at this weird time.
Nope.
But there's a no right-hand turn on Boylston near Dodger Stadium between 4 and 7 in the afternoon. And I don't know why. I guess it's because they don't want, there's like a little neighborhood there.
No, it's
rush
hour traffic.
They don't want people like cutting through during rush hour traffic. But that seems like oddly convenient for like the people of that neighborhood. Like,
somebody's rich and called the mayor. And we all know.
Yeah. And then he goes to
the
the Rams game. He's really upset about them getting thrashed by the Ravens. He goes outside. He eats a hot dog. A couple days later, he ends up sick. A few days later after that, it's bubonic plague in all of Los Angeles County.
Yes. But other than that, the Monday Night Football is pretty fun.
Yeah. Real quick, just before we get out of sports ball here.
Yeah.
Our next game is against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
The one-loss San Francisco 49ers, the leaders in the NFC.
Who we lost to earlier this year, right? Didn't we play them earlier?
No.
Who do we lose to at the beginning?
Chiefs.
I was thinking about the Chiefs.
And I can't remember who else we lost to.
The Chiefs, who are still looking great.
It was really early, though.
Yeah.
It was like week 4 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But nonetheless, the one-loss 49ers. And by the way, we've already beaten the unbeaten Patriots.
Yeah.
So,
but this could be I sort of say it at risk, but this could be a potential Super Bowl preview.
Right?
Do you have any feelings about this game? It's at the bank.
Yes, which I think is always good.
I mean, as far as rest goes, they played on Sunday night. We played on Monday night. I mean, there's not really a huge. Yeah. I mean, in addition, they're flying east.
I was going to say, they played Sunday night, but then they have to travel to Maryland. We played Monday night, but then we're at home for the game. So, which probably is the computer figuring that out. Like, this negates any, advantage. But, I mean, I would say that I am really happy that we are going to be surrounded by a bunch of gamblers while we're watching this, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of upset people, and that might be more entertaining than the game itself.
Yeah, we're going to Vegas this weekend, so Rob decided to save some money by flying to Vegas, and I decided to join him.
Yeah.
So.
And we can finally get some writing done, because I haven't written in 3 years. So... Well, and as I pointed out to you, my problem is I really need to get 3 days to write the first act of something. And then I can kind of pick it up as we go along. But I have 3 versions of the first act of the same thing, because I'm like, I don't know where I was going with this, and I can't get to the second act from where I am. So let's start over, and we're going to do it again. And then 2 weeks goes by, and I don't write anymore. And I'm like, all right, don't know where I was going with this. Can't get to the second act from here. So let's start over again.
Well,
I have that 3 times now.
So what I've decided to do is just like there was a night where I was just like struck by a certain amount of inspiration, and I just like told Rachel like,
shut the fuck up and don't talk.
Please, I love you, but shut the fuck up for a while. And like I literally just sat there, and like I think it helps my process a little bit to like do the actual physical movement of handwriting.
So I can't do that.
And it's nice with the Surface. So I have a notepad on the Surface where I can just like hand write my notes as I'm writing them, because it gives me enough time to like sort of think about what I'm saying before. I'm so much quicker with keys than I am like hand writing words.
Does it turn it into typing though?
You could.
See, that's where I need. So I need to get a Surface. Also, my computer's a piece of shit. So clearly It's upgrade time.
We can try running it on this next week and see if it lives up to your...
I don't think that it's got the processing power to do it. I got a Mac, and as much as I hate Macs, I think we're going to run it on a Mac from now on because it's also it's specially built to process video. Yeah. Render time on my 20-minute 20-minute Everyman movie review, 1 minute, 50 seconds. Usually on this computer, 1 hour, 50 minutes. So I'm hoping
it's amazing when you get the new equipment and you like. I remember I took my old laptop to a thing to like dump video footage on set. And like it was this like 4K video. I'm just like, oh, I don't need to play it. I just need to transfer it onto this thing. It's just like 2 gigs, 10 hours. I'm like,
nope. All right. Yeah. So back to the point, which is make sure you're following at O The Anthem on Instagram and Twitter. We will be live from, not the episode live, but we will be in Vegas, and I'm sure we'll be updating, so you're not going to want to miss that.
What I would really like is that we're essentially a phones off. Like we'll have our phones and they'll be around somewhere, but we'll like turn off all the volumes.
Yes.
And if somebody needs to contact us on emergency, they can like override the
DND.
The silence.
Yes.
But we just commit all this time to writing and taking breaks every once in a while to eat.
Yes.
And maybe watch the Ravens game. But other than that, writing.
The eating and Ravens game will coincide with each other.
Yes.
And then getting the hotel for 2 days so we can actually stay until we want to go.
All the way on Sunday.
Yeah. All the way through, go see the game, go back to the room, write some more. And we're leaving Roberto at home because that's the key to getting any work done.
Yeah. Because he would literally just stand there like, hey!
Yeah. Right. Like, listen, it's a boys' trip. No women allowed. So, yeah, that's right. You heard me. Anyway, so follow us up. We'll be there, and we'll be talking about the San Francisco Ravens game, which could hopefully goes like this week.
Yeah. Oh, man, that would make me feel so... I don't... You know, shout out to my buddy Dave Gascon, who is on the 5th hour of Ben Maller. He's the Fox Sports radio host, and they have a podcast. And every week they have this segment called Benny and the Penny, where Benny picks his against the spread picks for the NFL.
Okay.
And they literally flip a penny to see whether or not how accurate the penny is, like a 50-50 shot
versus him
kind of thing. And for the last couple of weeks, he's been talking about the Ravens, and he's been saying, you know, like, oh, they're in love with themselves, and this is all gonna come crashing down when they have to fly to the West Coast and take on the Rams, and reigning Super Bowl NFC champions, and I eventually Lamar's gonna get hit wrong, and this is all gonna come crashing down for the Ravens fans, and they don't know how good they got it. And listen, I live my world in a constant fear of
all of that.
I just wake up tomorrow and Lamar Jackson has turned into a pumpkin, and a literal pumpkin, and they still put him on the field because at one point it was Lamar Jackson.
Smash. Okay. Yes.
And I'm like, no. I literally live in this world of fear, but I listen to people talk about this to the Ravens, and I'm just like, that's not this team.
No. Hopefully.
But still, the part of me not having a heart attack in Las Vegas and literally dying there is not putting money on this Ravens 49ers game, because
also you don't want to ruin a good weekend. It could be good otherwise.
If it's a 4-point spread and it's a 3-point game, I don't know if I'm pulling through. That's all I'm saying.
You're like, you write your Oscar-winning screenplay, but Ravens lose, and you're like, nah, fuck it, I'm done. No, I don't even want to remember
just
this.
Hurl the surface against the wall, fuck this shit.
And on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap up sports. So, because we have splashes for everything, let's go ahead and most of the news that we have to talk about today, God damn, I can't find it, is actually a little homegrown news. So we can go ahead and jump right from sports ball into the Baltimore corner,
where you get the straight dope.
Absolutely. So a lot going on in Maryland. It's almost like you're preparing for a return, but a lot going on. So where are you going to start on this list?
I think we have to start with the mayor being indicted.
No. I'm sorry. You mean the second mayor of the last 3 to be indicted?
By the way, hate the 10-year challenge. Love the 10-year challenge meme of the Baltimore 2009 dealing with a mayor indicted.
Baltimore 2019.
Dealing with a mayor indicted.
Things never change.
Oh,
in
my
Baltimore.
God.
But yeah, so if you missed the news this week, former Mayor Pugh who I would say disgrace, right? Resigned in disgrace. Maybe resigned under a cloud, which then turned into disgrace now that she's been indicted.
Well, I think it was disgraceful before the cloud even started.
With not answering any questions and just hiding from the media. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but people seem to forget too that like before this story like officially broke, somebody at the Baltimore Sun, like in the City Hall beat, had like asked her about some sort of thing like, we're hearing some whispers about some sort of like something with your books and University of Maryland.
That's
and
crazy.
Yeah, you're insane. This is nothing but some sort of weird thought up experiment by somebody who wants to take me down.
Yep.
And
Then she hopped on her line and went right away from it.
Which usually you don't like, that you don't usually want to have I'm sure there's a soundbite there somewhere where she's going like, you people.
Yeah. And
bringing
turns out
these slanderous accusations across me.
Turns out 100% accurate. And she, in fact, did double sell books that never got delivered to University of Maryland and took money that was supposed to go to a foundation or to her company, which was then to be donated to a foundation, and basically walked out of a bank with cash and paid off some debt and bought a house.
Yeah.
And
started when her mayoral campaign looked like it was under a little bit of shaky ground.
Stress.
Yeah. And Sheila Dixon was raising all kinds of money, and then all of a sudden Catherine Pugh got this humongous flux of cash coming in, soft money coming in. Some of that soft money,
a lot of it.
Well, we don't really know yet. I mean, we haven't been able to. I can only speak of the ones I heard, but this is a true story. Her fridge donated to her mayoral campaign through a super PAC.
Very weird.
It literally was just like Frigidaire Cold Meister or whatever. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is absurd.
Keeping up the 2019. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, let's just have our fridge donate. And I wonder if it was a smart fridge and she just like went on the web browser and donated, and it was like, what's your name? She's like, Frigidaire. So she basically...
People in Baltimore sure have weird names.
I mean, wait, do you remember EP talking about LaDasha? L-A, the dash symbol, A, and one of the people went out in the waiting room was like, and the girl was like, LaDasha. And then so the next week that she got a different person that was... it was L.A. dash something else. And she went out and was like, LaDashna? And she was like, oh my gosh, how you know my name? And like, there are two people in the city of Baltimore with a dash in their name that you pronounce, okay? Probably more than two.
Yeah.
But nonetheless. So Mayor Pugh took money from her book sales, gave it to people with the understanding...
Book sales?
Yes, book sales first. Gave it to people with the understanding that you are then going to donate it back to me, and you were going to do this because I've given you some kind of political favor.
Yeah.
On my time as the or on city council, or I will give you a political favor once I get into the mayor's office.
There was some lawyer who I think he was part of the federal team investigating this or whatever. Said something like was asked a direct question about like should other people be nervous, and he's just like, I imagine there's a lot of wealthy people who are having wet pants right now.
Yeah.
I was just like, ooh.
Also,
ooh, thank you.
Even worse, because the indictment came out on Thursday, and on Friday she appeared in court and gave a guilty plea, which makes me think that perhaps she's going to go tell on some people.
That may happen, and that may reduce some time.
Thanks, Tekashi.
Tekashi Catherine.
Can somebody make that meme, please? Catherine Pugh as Tekashi 6ix9ine, just pointing people out.
First we start to the Marty Not Fly, and then
God. All right, I'm bringing back Marty Not Fly, and I'm finding someone at my work who can make Catherine Pugh as Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Just put her face. My favorite of all time is The Fugitive.
Yes,
but I think we should make Tekashi Pugh t-shirts. I feel like that would be lovely.
If I can find somebody to make me the image, I will 100% say let's put that on a t-shirt. I'm gonna talk to some graphic designers this week.
I really hope there was also conversation happening about whether or not Pugh should really face the hardest punishment possible. The maximum sentence, I think, for the thing she just pled guilty for was like 33 years. I think she's actually fighting some of the counts, but maybe it's just sort of like, I'm not putting in a plea for these.
Yeah,
and we're going to drop these when I cooperate.
Which is my guess. Because it's not that she's fighting them. She just entered a guilty plea to some, not guilty to others, which to me sounds like we're going to put these on the back docket.
Yeah.
And once you cooperate, then we'll drop these other charges, so you're not guilty will just become a nolle prosequi. But you're going to have these guilt. And by the way, they put her sentencing on the ones she's guilty of in February, which is a lot of time in order for her to come in on some other indictments that are maybe about to be handed down. So, yeah.
I think that there's what are we going to get from this web of corruption that is sort of keeping things open a little bit with this whole thing. But I maintain that the only way we're really ever going to properly make people think that there is some sort of punishment that can be had for pulling corruption on people when you are coming from the place of trying to be a member of the public trust that is supposed to be government. Like, I feel like, much like, if I murder somebody with intent, I get way more time than I do if it's just sort of like a crime of passion.
Manslaughter, yeah.
But I mean, like, there could be a murder that happens where it's just like, somebody cut me off in traffic, and then I was just like, how dare you? And then he flipped me off, and then at that moment I became so angry, and I decided to kill him. I decided to run him down with my car.
Well,
like, I could get that would be murder, and I would get a lot of time for that. But if I said, I'm tired of Rob and all his shit, and I know he's going to come over for the podcast next week, I'm going to hide in the elevator, and when he comes in going like, Corey, I'm just going to stab him in the neck.
Yes.
Because I'm so sick of his shit, and I've been planning this for months. Number one, probably not the place I should be doing it on a podcast with Rob. Be talking about my plans.
And also in an elevator with a camera in a building with many cameras, probably not the best place.
But I mean, like, hypothetically, that crime would get me a lot more time because I premeditated the thing.
Well, that depends. It gets you maybe the same amount of time. Now, if you were black and I was white, they're going to throw the book.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like, there's ways that I could get this to go higher just by pure happenstance. But I mean, like,
but being born black, I could make this a lot worse for myself. So.
I feel like people like this who violate the public trust and go and do it from the position of somebody who is trying, like, this is why I'm so upset about the whole Trump thing. And it's not just because, like, I don't like Trump or anything like that. It's because you're supposed to be president and looking out for the as much of America as humanly possible.
Yeah.
If there's something that you can do that can benefit America, you should be doing it. And you might have different opinions of what's good for America, and that's just political discourse. That's the thing. But, he's specifically trying to just bring down his political opponents.
Yeah.
He's not trying to do anything about he doesn't understand that this is wrong. This only benefits him. It does nothing for America. It hurts us in every single way.
But he doesn't care.
But he doesn't care.
He might know it, but he doesn't.
Yeah, and he's not going to, like, even if he got impeached, which is, like, even at this point, completely unlikely. Even if he got impeached, I doubt they even really bring charges against him.
No.
I mean, Pence probably just pardons him on the way out the door, and then he lives out the rest of his life in Palm Beach and never breaks stride,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, there used to be a time where we would kill the king. Like,
yeah.
we would drag him to the public square, and
how we
kill
did that?
the king.
You know how we did? Guillotine!
Yeah.
There's a solution for everything.
But I'm saying, like, kings started getting a little bit nervous when they knew that the punishment for betraying the public trust was so much higher because of the position you were in. If some random person walks up to me on the street and asks me for directions to Staples Center, and I on purpose give them wrong directions, like, that's not, like, it's a shitty thing for me to do. If I'm a cop and I do that,
now it's a little more. Yeah.
I would expect that person to be at least, like, the ideal, at least, of that person is that they're looking out for me.
Theoretically, yeah.
Like, I'm saying, the ideal belief is that if I walked up to a cop and I said, "Where's the nearest hospital?" He would be like, he would feel that as a member of the public trust that he should have to direct me to the hospital and maybe inquire as to whether or not I needed any kind of assistance. Right. Are you okay? Do you need me to call an ambulance? Do you want me to walk with you? Those types of things. Yeah. Anything. But if he intentionally goes like hospital, it's like 3 blocks that way, right in the middle of the water. You should be fired. And not only should you be fired, but the worst thing should happen to you because you did something intentionally to ruin your trust with the public. And I feel like at the very least, whatever prison sentence comes with Catherine Pugh's crimes, there should also be a certain amount of time in McKeldin Square with her in the stocks, and we can throw... Because she hasn't even fucking talked about it. I know that... By the way, in and out of court, too. I know her lawyers right now are saying, don't say a fucking word to anybody, because every single time you say something, you put yourself in the jackpot more and more. And I get it. I get that there's a legal wrangling to this whole thing, and I'm not stupid when I'm calling her a coward. I'm just saying, she hasn't even apologized to the people yet. She hasn't said anything. She just... I don't know.
And I was going to say, have you watched Catherine the Great yet on HBO?
No.
Okay, so one of the things is when the French Revolution happens, Catherine says, let's burn all the French books, and if any French people are around, let's kick them out of the country. Because I don't want that to happen here. I don't know if you heard what happened to Louis. Wasn't pretty, and I don't want that to happen to me. Yeah. So that's what happens when you start cutting off kings' heads. And you know what? You throw Catherine Pugh in jail for 30 years? Maybe no more Baltimore mayors are corrupt because they're like, okay.
I mean, the fact that Sheila Dixon got off with fucking nothing. Yeah. And so another story, I'll tie this in together. The fact that SRB has felt no fucking backlash ever in her life for the fact that she unconstitutionally shut down the city for a week. Yeah. In the wake of Freddie Gray and the uprising and everything like that. SRB should be living on a farm in Iowa, hoping that nobody recognizes her on the street.
And instead, they're asking her if she's going to run for the House of Representatives. Who asked you?
Who asked her? Really, I want to know the person who, maybe he was just, maybe some copy editor was just think of some random people who might run for Congress and give them a call. And it's just well, I mean, Stephanie Rawlings Blake should be living in the house of disgrace with Martin O'Malley, but I guess I could ask her.
Yeah, and I imagine that Martin O'Malley's on that list, and they're like, no, there's no way he's gonna run. No.
Or maybe they called and they got the no, I'm not thinking about doing it. It's cool, that's what we thought, and then hung up, and it's just we don't really have to write a piece about this, do we?
No, nobody. He doesn't even live in the district. I think the problem is she does live in the district, so she could theoretically run.
Yeah, Martin lives in Annapolis somewhere. Yeah.
But speaking
on some
of
property that he definitely can't afford on a government dime.
Yeah. Strange. Maybe he stole all the stuff from the state house.
He stole some books.
So speaking of corruption in the city of Baltimore, I would really like to spend more time talking about the fact that Adnan Syed had his was blocked from appealing to the Supreme Court. Not blocked, but any chance of appeal is now.
They declined to hear the
case. Yes. But I do want to dive into that. I also, by the way, did not get a chance to read what I assume is a denial. Mm-hmm. So, but it was usurped because the man who is clearly corrupt and has continued to pursue this case as a means for his own public pronouncement, decided that was the appropriate day to run his first ad running for mayor of Baltimore. And you saw this. I'm going to let you say this because I didn't see the actual ad.
I didn't see the actual ad either. I just heard people getting all upset about it. I don't understand. Talking about violating of the public trust. Thiru, however you may feel of him politically or as a person or whatever, intentionally ran for state's attorney with the intention of not winning. He ran. He's doing what Tulsi Gabbard's going to do in a couple months, which is run a campaign to keep the person to split the anti-Mosby ballot, because when it was just Bates and Mosby, Bates had a 70% lead on her or something like that. It was crazy, and then mysteriously Thiru got into the race and started saying things that were kind of on the Mosby party line. But also, every once in a while, to show that he wasn't, in on the fight, that he wasn't taking a dive or anything like that, he'd be like, I'm not saying Mosby's no saint. And then all of a sudden becomes assistant district attorney for Baltimore City. It was a situation immediately after Mosby wins re-election.
It was a situation where Ivan Bates was getting the anyone but Mosby vote. Yeah. And he had some pretty extreme views, like not pursuing any marijuana cases from here on out. And if you're going to charge cops, then you charge them and you take them all to court and you make a judge say not guilty on every single count, which is strange for the city of Baltimore. But there were a lot of people who didn't support all of that, but were just like, we can't do Mosby anymore.
Right.
But Thiru
there were enough people who were saying we can't do Mosby.
Yeah.
I will deal with literally anything.
But
much like there's going to be people who say like I will vote for literally anyone who is not Donald Trump.
Right.
I will vote for Cory Booker. I will vote for
anybody who gets
Tom Steyer. I will vote for literally anyone who wins this thing. And then all of a sudden Gabbard gets in as a third party, and you're just like, well, she has some very interesting parts about meeting with dictators.
And I was gonna say she's gonna be closer to Trump than any of the Democratic candidates.
Yeah.
And Thiru was closer to Mosby.
Be closer to McConnell.
Closer to Thiru was closer to Mosby, and it was like, well, I don't like Mosby. I don't necessarily don't like what she does or what her stances are. I just know she doesn't do the things she says she's going to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to vote for this guy who maybe will do the things that she didn't do, and then split that vote. And I think Ivan Bates finished up with 34.
I feel like
so.
to tie this in a little bit with the
Ivan Bates, not Ivan Mosby. I think I said Ivan Mosby.
Yeah.
Ivan Bates.
We are talking about Mosby though,
Yes.
so you got the two. But the ACLU's about to sue the city on behalf of some residents.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's some sort of way that there could be some sort of group that could like sue the entire city of Baltimore and just shut this shit down. Like, just be like, listen, there can't be a mayoral election. Like, these people cannot be trusted to literally run or win the mayorship. Jack Young has done nothing. He's literally saying, I'm not committing the murders when responding to somebody who's asking about why all these people are fucking murdered. We have TJ Smith running, who so far has not made any sort of idea like he's going to fuck the cops over as part of his running for mayor.
Because he's not. He's not.
Right. I mean, like, you know, literally the only way I would even consider voting for TJ Smith is if he held a news conference and said, listen, there are a fucking lot of dirty cops who are in the Baltimore Police Department. I know all of their names because at some point a press release has come by and I've had to be like, oh, I can't say that name out loud, but I know who it is. And I know where they all live and like what their positions are. And the minute you hire me as mayor, I can fire all these people. Like,
also, no. The minute I am inaugurated as mayor, I start naming names.
You know how everyone says that, like it's just the bad cops? Well, why don't we try out that theory? Because I know all the bad cops. I can just fire them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're going to suitor him, and what I'm going to call suitoring him, and he'll have an unfortunate incident in West Baltimore, and
suitoring being the new term for an unsolved murder,
a completely solvable murder that is somehow unsolved because the murderer is in fact a Baltimore City police officer.
Epstein got suitored.
Yes. Yeah. And how? But yeah, so as you mentioned, the ACLU is suing the city.
I love it. Just as an aside, I don't want to get into a whole Epstein thing, but I know that Bill Barr had like a statement this week just being like, I know this is incredibly hard for you to hear and nobody wants to hear it right now, but this is just like the biggest colossal like continuation of errors that happened that allowed this to even be possible. And like the fact that so many things went wrong is kind of unbelievable, and that's how it happened. Mm-hmm. And I know nobody's gonna believe me,
but
that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see Bill Barr like have those moments where he's just like, "Listen, I know nobody wants to believe this. Everyone wants to think that JFK didn't get killed by one person alone. I get it. We've looked at it all. It really didn't.
Yeah,
I still think he was murdered. But
yeah, no. I know you're saying. I know you're saying to yourself, "There's no way that these guys could be that bad at their job that all these things would fail." But I'm here to tell you, folks, we are that bad at our jobs.
We are that inept.
Yeah.
All these people work for me. Bill Barr.
Yeah. But the ACLU is suing the city, and I think it won't shut the city down, but it'll certainly lead to some interesting information.
Yeah.
That will certainly come out. But one negative thing that has nothing to do with city government, really, and only in comparison to LA, because I want to make sure we talk about this.
Yeah.
We, coming back from Memorial Coliseum, had the choice of taking Metro, which was a clusterfuck, and LA still hasn't figured out how to run extra trains only to the stadium.
Yeah.
I wish we would figure that out. That seems like it would be easy. But anyway, or taking an Uber, which also ridiculous and not really fathomable. You found a bike. After I got the girls out of the stadium area, I went to find a bike.
I think the reason why you didn't find a bike was because they went quick.
Yes,
there was like a huge queue of people like ready to get a bike at the station where I was at, and I was able to get past all of them because I could walk up and like tap the card and walk away with the bike. Like there were people like looking at like, what do I have to do here?
Yeah, but I got a line,
and I told a bunch of people that the white bikes are electric bikes, and they're just like, no way. Like, oh man, now there's more people. Yeah. 20 minutes, by the way. 20 minutes to ride my electric bike from the stadium to here. Like,
which is, by the way, now I think of it, that's why you beat me. This is the electric bike. But I got a Lyft scooter, and then when the battery died on that one, when I killed that one, I got a Bird scooter. But it's not really about that. What it's about is I took a bike lane. Now, wherever I was by USC was terrible. Adams Boulevard, terrible. But then I banged a left onto Figueroa at Adams, which is not South LA or not South Downtown, and it's not South Park. It's beyond that, south of the 10, down in whatever that part. I guess it's
like
South
University
LA.
Village.
University Village,
but that's part of downtown. It's part of the extended downtown.
So there, I found myself in a bike lane, and I rode it from Adams, solidly 2 miles, all the way up to Sunset, where I then turned right into a not dedicated bike lane, but a bike bus lane that is parking at this hour.
Yeah.
But is so wide that you can park a car and I can still ride my bike or scooter beside it. And I followed that all the way down Sunset, became Cesar Chavez, and then to Broadway. And this is what I don't understand. How does Baltimore continue to get this so wrong? Why are people so objecting to these bike lanes? Because, again, I got from Memorial Coliseum to Chinatown in 25 minutes, and I had to trade a scooter on the way there.
The problem is that most cities in the industrial Northeast were not built with the intention that there were going to be cars.
I guess that's
so.
True. Yes.
I mean, like when they installed bike lanes all throughout downtown, they clearly took advice from the people who, like, the bike advocates about like what this should mean, and they were talking about like we need to separate the vehicle traffic from the bikers, and if somebody like sways into the lane, you got to avoid people being able to like get into the lanes. And the way that they did it was, I don't want to say wrong, but just not built for a city that was built in the 1600s.
Yeah, you can't take a travel lane and turn it into a bike lane. People don't like that. But there are things that they could have done to make it more like that Figueroa bike lane.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that what you need is, I mean, like, the benefit of LA, too, is that it was, 60 degrees while I'm biking in November to my home. So it's not like I had to worry about, like, snow and stuff that you have to worry about in Maryland all the time. But it's just like you have to get people used to the idea that this is better for everyone. Like me not taking a car from here to the stadium or back helped because a car takes up a lot of space.
Right.
And it like there was some artist who took pictures of traffic and then just photoshopped out the cars and just had the people.
Yeah.
And you could look at like this huge congestion of traffic and see like 100 people.
Yeah.
And like one of them's a bus with 20 people on it.
Right.
But like you're looking at it and you're just like, realistically, this is an awful allocation of our space. Like somebody on a bike makes a lot more sense because a small footprint and like one person, like it makes more sense than the entire space of the car.
Yeah.
But,
and by the way, every other major city, not on the East Coast of the United States, knows this.
Yeah.
All the European cities, by the way, with streets that are smaller and not meant for traffic, know this. And they basically just say, we're going to enforce it.
I mean, they basically, but the difference is that they spent time over the last 25 years.
Okay, I mean, that's true.
Telling people like why the bike makes sense.
Yeah.
And it corresponded with, in Europe and places like this, like outrageously higher gas prices than in America.
Oh, and making the cars much smaller.
Yeah.
So
and making laws essentially saying that if you own a bigger car, you pay more money. And like, there in London they have congestion taxes that depend on what type of car you drive.
Yeah.
So if you were hypothetically driving like a Suburban or a Hummer around London, you'd be paying a lot more than if you were driving around like an EV, for instance.
Right. And by the way, Baltimore, as small as the streets are, if everyone was driving a smart car or a similarly European-sized car, you'd have plenty of room for a bike lane.
Well,
on
I mean,
the
like,
outside.
I feel this is at the end of the day, this is the problem, and I'm. I fucking hate the Republicans so much right now. I'm so mad at them.
He's a Republican.
They're not my besties right now. I'm so angry with like where literally all of them are going. But at the same time, I can't in good conscience say Democrats are here to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Because this is at the end of the day, this is the problem. That Democrats have all the best intentions in mind, and they just come up with systems that don't work because they're too convoluted. They're too crazy. We talked to marijuana earlier.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like these businesses that have been running for 20 years when we had a medical marijuana system and the regulations were strict but not completely undoable. Like everybody was able to play ball. Nobody got hurt. It was a perfectly fine system that worked. And then you had to come up with this new system that requires like weekly sales tax registration and having all these different safety measures in mind and like everything with the idea of like protecting the people who would be potentially buying the marijuana.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you're shutting out people who've been doing this for 20 years and are not like a MedMen, which is just filled with like Marlboro owned marijuana products essentially. Like you're taking out all the people that you tried to replace the system of like drugs equal the drug to prison pipeline essentially, and you're saying like, okay, we're gonna make it legal, and then you ruin the whole thing. Like that's the problem. Like I can't say vote for Republicans because they're intentionally doing things to deceive you, and I can't say vote for Democrats because whatever they say is just not gonna work. Like that's at any time, like the debate this week, like where you're hearing like Elizabeth Warren going on and on about like, oh, why we need to have Medicare for all. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, like hypothetically it works. Like the idea of like us all being on the same plan and being able to talk down prices and everything would become less expensive without the insurance companies and everything like that. I get it. I just don't trust you to be able to do it. Like you just haven't shown, like there's never been a Democrat who came along who was just like, I've been a CPA for the last 40 years, and I know how to make things work. Like, I know how to...
Let me offer a third opinion. We have Republicans on the right, and we have Democrats on the left.
Yeah.
I can offer you a group that encompasses both and takes care of all the problems you're talking about.
Okay.
Guillotines. Let's go with guillotines. Guillotines 2020. And I think that's a good place to wrap up the Baltimore.
Yeah. Next week we'll get into the ACLU and Herschel's.
Yeah, I do.
Baltimore, Serpico, and everything. There's so many things on the docket this week. It's just insane.
So we are at 58 minutes right now. Let's just do a quick. Oh wait, I cleared it. Let's do a quick lightning round.
Okay. Well,
1 minute on each of these impeachment topics.
Can I set up the Les Parmas thing a little bit before we?
Go ahead.
Because this is important, and I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to ruin everyone's weekend. I felt this needs to have its proper context put into it. Les Parmas was a Ukrainian national who worked with Rudy Giuliani and another partner, another Ukrainian individual who got arrested recently. We talked about it on the podcast. They were about to board their flight from Dulles to Europe when they got arrested. And they're in a lot of trouble. Much like Catherine Pugh is doing, trying to talk down any kind of legal jeopardy. They are talking right now. And the lawyer for Les Parmas put out there that in December of last year, Devin Nunes of the House Republican leadership and of California, I think I'm near Lancaster, right? Is that where Nunes is?
He's Northern California.
Yeah. He's an L.A., but outside of L.A. congressman. Yeah. He flew to Vienna in December on government money, mind you, with 4 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Something that costs like $25,000.
Fact-finding trip, yeah.
To talk to the Ukrainian prosecutor who was fired in the whole corruption scandal, to hear what he had to say about the Bidens. And right now, Nunes, when approached with the question, first by CNN, said, like, I'm not talking to you guys in this lifetime or next. And then to another reporter, like a more conservative reporter who asked him, said something along the lines of, I plan on taking them to court for their slander and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Not actually saying that he didn't do it, but just saying that he plans on taking them to court.
Let them prove it.
Yeah, let them try and prove this. And I'm sure Les Parmas has some sort of way. It would be pretty dumb of his lawyer to put this out in the universe if there was nothing there to back this up even a little bit. That would not help his case.
Yeah. Funny thing too, Devin Nunes sits on, if I am correct.
By the way, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to correct you.
Yeah.
You said Nunes.
Yes.
It's Nunes.
Nunes. Oh,
There's no accent over the end.
no Hispanic. No Hispanic.
He's a white guy named Devin. It's all right. You don't have to ask
Like
so many
Ted Cruz,
questions.
or
When he shows up at the rallies with
Yes.
the Latinos, the ones who will actually be seen with
Nunes!
them. Nunes is here.
Yeah, but when he's with his friends, it's
Your
Nunes.
favorite congressman, Devin Nunes.
Yeah.
Is there a Devin
That
in
was
Spanish?
kind of Italian.
I know. All my Mexican is Italian.
Racist. Anyway, so yeah,
but yes, the tea is being spilled by Les Parmas's lawyer, and I don't imagine he'd be doing this unless he had something there. And Devin Nunes is not reacting well to all this, especially when who's the one Swalwell, the one who was running for president. He read the story on an open impeachment hearing, so it was on the record.
Isn't Devin's on the one of
he's the one heading the Republican side of this investigation.
Yeah. You
Just
can't get out of your own fucking way.
You can't do this. Like,
it's because they think that nothing will happen. They think nothing will happen, and he's like, the best place to hide, plain sight. Absolutely, let's do this.
This wolf was just this lamb was just torn apart by wolves. We should have some sort of investigation to figure out if anything went wrong here. And half the people who should be investigating it should be wolves as well.
Yeah, it's only fair that both sides of the equation are heard from. Yes. Okay, so I feel like there's going to be more about that too. I would really like to see Devin Nunes impeached by his own House brethren as well, or just silenced. That would be nice.
Well, I mean, like, he can't be impeached.
No, you can.
In Congress, you can be impeached?
Anyone in national office can be impeached.
I thought the congressmen and the senators had to just resign in disgrace.
Nope.
I thought there was something in there about that. Yeah, this one would not end in an impeachment because them impeaching Trump or impeaching Nunes would mean that they would have to impeach Trump.
Yes,
because what Trump did was worse than what Nunes did, and it's not even like. And what Nunes did was really fucking bad. But
there will be a lot of people in his office like, listen, bro, we cannot let this go down. I need you to step down.
Can you just get sick for a while or something like that? Can you just get like cancer and just go away for a while?
Just resign.
Like, you can keep the seat and just don't like come in and just don't vote and like.
Dems won't let him keep the seat.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't let him. I'm sure they won't let him keep the spot on the committee. They'll quietly let Jim Jordan like run the committee. But I'm saying like they'll make some sort of like, oh, these heartless Democrats who won't let Devin Nunes go through his cancer treatment for
show me the test.
What was
show
it?
me the test.
Ovarian cancer. Devin, you stupid fuck. You won't let him fight his ovarian cancer treatment.
I am 12. Yeah. All right, so
Devin just texted me what is cancer ovarian. You dumb motherfucker. I swear to God, if you weren't one of us, I would murder you in your sleep.
All right. So I'm going to assign 1 minute for each of the remaining topics.
Okay.
We're already over an hour. Are you ready? And go.
Yeah. Okay, so a federal judge said that Don McGahn has to respond to congressional subpoenas. And also stated, even though this one was specifically about Don McGahn, that in the view of the court, any senior official in the White House is open to congressional oversight and therefore congressional subpoenas in the house of a impeachment inquiry.
Right, which means that anyone who thinks that they are going to bring and delay a subpoena now will have this judge who will say, nope, already decided, go testify.
To be fair, though, this will part of the reason why I don't want to talk about this more is because, I mean, this will go to a higher court, and it'll just keep getting appealed until eventually it goes to the Supreme Court, which will probably happen a lot quicker because the Supreme Court will have a reason to see this case right away.
Oh, yeah.
But
Adnan sits in jail forever.
Trump gets to figure out in 2 months whether the Supreme Court will.
Yep.
Justice. It's nuts, but all these people should testify. This is a really fucking bad day for Trump.
Yep.
And if it goes to the Supreme Court and they find that the congressional subpoenas stand, then we are in for the shit show. Show begins.
Here's the thing. We're not. We're in for health condition and stepping down and Vice President Pence pardoning him of all crimes.
I'm sure that at some point they're trying. I think that the plan is kick this can for as long as possible, and that's our emergency out. That's the parachute opening when the plane is going down.
Yep. We'll see. All right. Next topic.
Yeah. Trump did a 53-minute call-in segment on Fox and Friends.
All good. Always good. The president live on TV.
He does this from time to time. I don't know if people are aware of what Fox and Friends is.
You people.
But during that conversation, he said that the secret server that Hillary Clinton had for all her emails was in the possession of a Ukrainian company named Counterstrike, which is actually an American company owned by a Russian. And that when the very surprised host of Fox and Friends heard about this, said, "Is that true?" And he responded with, "Well, that's what I'm hearing. That's the word."
So basically,
which
Trump.
Not how the word works, by the way.
He is spreading QAnon bullshit from Reddit, essentially, or from 8chan.
And not only this is literally what the Kremlin is trying to put out there as a reason for why Russia didn't interfere in the election, because Ukraine was doing it, you guys.
Yeah.
And Ukraine and Russia don't have a great relationship, so they don't mind putting that on Ukraine. And now we're in this position where Trump is just parroting what Russian propaganda is out there, and we're just all okay with it. Like, it's fine. Like, you can just do this on TV.
2019.
Speaking of which, what Trump is doing, just randomly repeating Russian propaganda, even if you're under the impression that he doesn't have any kind of tie from Russia, is something that you would see from what we would call a useful idiot.
Yes.
A useful idiot is somebody who is unaware that you're doing some sort of criminal activity, but you are able to talk them into being beneficial for your cause by not saying anything, you know?
I definitely don't have one of those. As I shout guillotines in every episode.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, the feds are going to come by and be like, so were you talking about Catherine Pugh getting guillotined on the pod? I'm like, really, me? This one fucking time?
Listen, we already had him under surveillance for a long time. We understand. Now you've become involved.
So John Kennedy, senator from Louisiana, was asked about what Trump said on Fox and Friends, and basically he said the same exact thing, and was going like, well, we all know that the server's in Ukraine. And it's just like, nobody's ever fucking, like, this is the all right, sorry, one more rant from the room. This is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen, because like, number one, the server's not in Ukraine. It's not like a physical box. Like, it's not like somebody brought it. Like, it's in the cloud. Like, this is how email works these days. Nobody has a box for email anymore. Like, two, everything that Joe Biden did in Ukraine was correct. Like, Republican senators at the time said that Ukrainian prosecutor is wrong and needs to be fired. And he said to do it even though it would hurt his son's company.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone was just like, congratulations, Joe, on doing the right thing, even though it might potentially hurt your son in some sort of way. And now this turns into, Joe wanted this prosecutor fired because he was going to investigate Burisma, and Hunter Biden was going to get into some sort of trouble. And the whole timeline doesn't make any fucking sense. None whatsoever. So I guess the thing I'm trying to say is just like, they're all worthless and stupid.
I think what you're saying is guillotines, right? You're saying guillotines.
I can't even believe that we are. This is the life we live. Like,
it's 2019, and truth is stranger than fiction. But you know what? Ravens won tonight.
Ravens won. At least there's at least once a week I get a slight reprieve from my anger.
What is a group of Ravens called?
Unkindness.
An unkindness.
Yeah.
And we certainly showed that to the Rams today.
We were very unkind to them.
Very unkind.
Speaking of all manners of unkindness, you know where you can find more?
Where's that?
OTheAnthem.com. Corey at OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. You can find more of me on my website, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, or Facebook.com/CoreyBakerFilm, or at Legends25 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. What was the most recent movie review I did? I don't remember offhand.
Last Christmas?
Last Christmas, yes. Go check out that one.
Wait, where would they check that out?
At the Corey Baker Filmmaker YouTube page,
Ooh,
part of the Create Music Group family. I'm gonna do another review here. I want to see a movie tomorrow, Wednesday, something like that. So I'll do another review for Thursday. I've been kicking around. I watched. I didn't be able to like sit down and watch every single minute of Dolomite Is My Name, and I didn't feel like doing a review of something I wasn't like 100% focused on, but I might like give it a rewatch and give it a review at some point here too.
There's a bunch of things on HBO, Netflix, Amazon that I want to see. I was
the problem is like I watched like the new Lady and the Tramp, like the new live action Lady and the Tramp on Disney Plus, and it was like, do I do a review about this because like it is like a movie that's being released on a platform, and I've done streaming movies before, like I don't separate them, but it didn't feel like. It felt like a Redbox movie, kind of like just offhand a little bit. And
it was made specifically
like,
for that.
And I knew that with it being launched on Disney Plus, it wasn't going to be as good as the ones that they're putting in the theaters because they still make more money from the ones they put in the theaters. Yeah, but I still like. I didn't feel like doing a review on it and just like kicking shit on something that, like, really, it's just a Disney movie. It doesn't need like it's fine. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it.
It was never in. I mean, literally, they made it to have content that somebody would be like, "Ooh, a live action?
Yeah,
let me go see."
Yeah, have something worth seeing on the launch of the thing. Yeah.
As opposed to Star Wars and Marvel and everything else. They needed something for the Rachel sect. Because there's plenty on there for me.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you can find more of me at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Rob Cheek, now a member of the Create Music Group Network. And you can find, Corey may not be the best at posting, but you're going to find 2 posts a week no matter what on that channel. New episodes every Thursday, and then usually Sunday, but one day in between at least. Going back through the catalog of old movies, stuff that I saw over the summer, as well as the new stuff this Thursday about Last Christmas. So also doing a review of that, so you can check that out. Right now, Zombieland 2 is the episode that's up, so make sure you check that out there. You can, of course, find more information at robertncheek.com, where you can find links to everywhere that you need to go, including the Amazon page, where you can find my books.
By Rob's Books.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. By the way, if anybody's listening to this, I am traveling back to Maryland today, as you're listening to this, tomorrow, if you're watching live. So if you're in Maryland, you want to see me, you got like 4 days. So
when are you going, by the way?
Flight is at 7:30 tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have a long 24 hours in front of me. Here we go. Yay.
Good luck. Good luck with getting out on time.
Burbank.
Oh, you're flying out of Burbank?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. I meant like getting out of work, like.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to leave.
Because instinctively at like 2 o'clock, some 18-year-old is going to walk up to you with like a stapler and just be like, Rob, I'm out of staples.
Yeah. I'm telling everybody I'm leaving at 1, and hopefully by then I'll leave at 3, which gets me home and in time to get to Burbank by 6. So should be fine. It should be fine. But you can catch up to me in Maryland if you
want.
Rob,
why doesn't my Post-it notes have any more Post-it notes on it?
I literally had to get somebody Post-it notes today. Because they could not find the Post-it notes. Yeah. So anyway,
that was just a random guess, and I nailed it.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network, now a part of the Create Music Network. Well, now I forget what the ending is.
For Corey.
For Corey. This is Rob. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You think there's any NFL games we will put money on this weekend?
I will not, because I don't gamble when I go to Vegas, except for on my health with all of the Fat Tuesday I like to drink.